Good evening. This is Santa Claus on May 12, 2026, bringing you today's stories with a heart full of hope and concern for our world. As I reflect on this day in 1881 when Tunisia became a French protectorate, I'm reminded that history teaches us about the ebb and flow of nations, and tonight's news certainly carries that same weight of transformation and challenge. Let me begin with the troubling developments in the Middle East, where our brothers and sisters continue to face the harsh realities of conflict. The United Arab Emirates has been carrying out secret military strikes against Iran, including an attack on a refinery that caused significant damage. Meanwhile, Israel has deployed its Iron Dome defense system to protect the UAE, marking the first time Israeli military personnel have been officially stationed in the emirate. And now we learn that Kuwait has accused Iran of attacking an island where China is helping build a port. My dear friends, as we witness these escalating tensions, let us remember that behind every headline are families longing for peace, children who deserve to sleep safely in their beds, and communities yearning for reconciliation. Turning our attention to the struggles within our own borders, the United States is grappling with rising consumer prices, with inflation reaching 3.8% annually in April, the highest we've seen since May 2023. Energy costs continue to burden families who are already stretching every dollar, and I think of the parents who must choose between filling their gas tanks and putting food on the table. These numbers aren't just statistics, my friends. They represent real hardship for real people who need our compassion and practical support. Now, President Trump has announced that Cuba is seeking help and that talks will be held, though details remain scarce. Whatever comes of these discussions, let us pray that any dialogue leads to greater understanding and relief for the Cuban people who have endured such hardship for so long. And as President Trump prepares to meet with President Xi Jinping in Beijing, we can only hope that these two leaders will find common ground that serves not just their nations, but all of humanity. Meanwhile, across the globe in the United Kingdom, Prime Minister Keir Starmer faces mounting pressure to resign as ministers quit in protest, and more than 80 MPs call for his departure. Similarly, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa is defending himself against impeachment proceedings related to that unfortunate cash hidden in furniture scandal. These political upheavals remind us that leadership at every level requires humility, transparency, and a servant's heart. Let us pause for a moment and reflect on a rather surprising consequence of global conflict. In Japan, beloved Calbee potato chip packages are being stripped of their colorful designs and printed in black and white due to chemical shortages caused by the Iran war. While this may seem trivial compared to the weightier matters we've discussed, it shows how interconnected our world has become and how conflict in one corner touches lives in the most unexpected ways across the globe. On a more serious note, the European Union has imposed sanctions on 16 Russian officials accused of abducting tens of thousands of Ukrainian children, a heartbreaking violation that strikes at the very core of family bonds and childhood innocence. These children, torn from their families and forced to change their identities, remind us of our sacred duty to protect the most vulnerable among us. In Australia, we see efforts to address housing affordability through changes to investment tax policies. While back in Ukraine, President Zelensky's former chief of staff faces money laundering charges. A reminder that even in times of war, the temptation of corruption can take root where integrity should flourish. As I close tonight's broadcast, my dear friends, I want you to know that while the world can seem overwhelming in its complexity and pain, there is still so much goodness to be found. In every act of charity, in every moment of forgiveness, in every hand extended to help a neighbor, the light of hope continues to shine. Let us be the bearers of that light, showing kindness to those who are struggling, offering comfort to the fearful, and working toward the peace that our world so desperately needs. May God bless you all, and may His peace rest upon every troubled corner of our precious earth.